You are now tuned in to Go Time Dolphins with Charlie Touche and Kadeem Simmons, the Miami Dolphins podcast that's for the fans and by the fans.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. Go. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Go. Don't waste no time.
I'm sure. You know what? I say I'm sure. I know how busy you are at the moment, so I can't say I'm sure anymore. But before I ask how you are, I'll ask how you are, but also, have you seen that Tua jumped on Tyreek Hill's podcast?
Hey, did the episode come out?
I don't think so, but there's been a few clips that have come out. And one in particular, basically saying how, well, as Tyreek Hill saying to Tua that, you know, I believe in you. I'm not just saying that as your teammate, but as your brother. You know, I believe in you. The team believes in you. We're going to follow your lead. You're going to lead us to glory and stuff like that. So, yeah.
No, I didn't see that part. I was kind of waiting for the whole thing to come out. I didn't know any of it dropped. But when the whole thing drops, I'll be there for it. I'm super busy right now. But yeah, man, I seen that. He said, "Look who I got in the building." All the other good stuff. I still didn't see the verses, so it is what it is. But it's Go Time Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins podcast that goes not only across the pond, but across the world. I'm your boy, Charlie Touche. I got my co-host, Kadeem Simmons, with me. As always, for the fans and by the fans. Your favorite podcast. I like it. Kadeem, we have some new additions on this Miami Dolphins roster. I want to say this is probably the best Miami Dolphins roster Kadeem has seen in the time of his fandom. That being said, we know who Tyreek Hill is. We know who Terran Armstead is. We know what they bring to the team. We know what Jalen Waddle can do. We know friend of the podcast, Jevon Holland. We know Xavier Howard. But give me one person, just one. Give me one person. And for everybody listening on the audio version, we appreciate you. Everyone listening on YouTube, we appreciate you as well. Please hit that subscribe button and like as well. But I want y'all to answer this too and leave it in the comments. Who is going to break out this year? Give me one breakout person on the Miami Dolphins, offense or defense, that will have a breakout season. Like, hey, this man arrived, he broke out. Not named Tua, because I think most of us believe Tua's going to break out. Either you believe Tua's going to have a breakout season or you believe Tua's a bust. I don't think there's no in between. So we're not going to go with Tua, although he will qualify. Like, oh yeah, Tua had a breakout season. So give me someone not named Tua, Kadeem, that is going to have a breakout season this year for the Miami Dolphins.
It's a really interesting question because you know, someone like friend of the podcast, Jevon Holland, he had such a spectacular rookie season that for him to have a breakout year, like you're talking like what, 5+ interceptions. I believe he got 2 last season. I think I feel like someone like him, he's had his breakout year already. Like, I'm not saying he can't improve, but he was ranked, obviously, like, you know, PFF is one thing, you have to watch the guy play as well. But he was like ranked like the 3rd best safety in the league or something dumb like that. Like, this is someone who had a really, if anything, like an underrated, or like the league is at the moment. I feel like the league is sleeping on Jevon Holland. So if I said, you know, he gonna have a breakout year, then with some Dolphin fans like, the guy broke out last year. Like, he's made it. Like, obviously, like I said, he's still got to improve and stuff like that. Same way if I said
Hold on. because I thought you were going to actually give us a name. And I didn't want you to give us that name. But I feel what you say about the safety. Because there's people around the league during this offseason that thought Miami was going to quote unquote upgrade at safety. Like, oh, Miami needs safeties. Like, oh, they have holes in Miami and safety is one of them. I'm like, what Miami team y'all watching? We got Brandon Jones and Jevon Holland. Like, in my opinion, they're going to be the like, man, them boys going to be studs together. They're going to be inseparable. No one's going to want to play against them. Cam Chancellor, Earl Thomas type thing. You see what I'm saying? So, and then he sat here on this podcast and told you how the chemistry came along well, rookie season. Nah, man, we don't need safeties. Shout out to, we're about to put everybody on blast with that. So, yeah, but go ahead. I just wanted to tell you, I just wanted to agree with you and say, yeah, man, people think that we need safeties. Like, what? But go ahead.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think, people can accuse us of being Dolphins homage, like you guys overrate your players too much. But, before I give my name, again, if I said someone like Jalen Waddle, like the guy broke the record for receptions as a rookie. Again, he can still improve. I'm sure he would like to increase his touchdowns and stuff like that. But again, I wouldn't say that Waddle is planned for a breakout year. I think he's established himself as a top receiver. Where you rank him, that's for another episode. But he's established himself as a guy who the league, should be paying attention to off the bat. I like to be different, I guess, and I like to name someone who no one is thinking about. Like, to me, a breakout player is someone who's like, oh snap, this guy has made it as an NFL pro, as in like he's a household name. You got guys on ESPN, NFL Network saying this guy's a stud. I've mentioned Holland and Waddle, and I kind of feel like to say this person will be like, does he not fall into that category? But for me, it's like Jaelan Phillips. I think he's the kind of person who was something like 8.5 sacks as a rookie, which again is still impressive. Or around that mark, it's impressive. But he's someone who, again, if you don't get me wrong, I like the way Miami can disguise some of their looks. So you might have someone like Phillips or Wilkin drop into coverage for one snap. It's like, okay, it's quite fun now. Get back to what you're doing. I feel like Phillips dropped back a bit too much for my liking. I feel like Phillips is someone who just let him pin his air back and watch the quarterback. And I feel that after his rookie year, he's someone who, again, there'll be rotation between him and Melvin Ingram, Emmanuel Ogbah and stuff like that. But I can see Phillips with a full, with a full preseason under his belt in terms of there's no rookie minicamp, anything like that. He's like, I'm a veteran, I'm a second year guy. I can see him getting doubly sack total and hitting like 16, 17, and people going, okay, wow, the Dolphins were right to take him at 15 instead of was it Najee Harris? Yeah. And again, there will still be people that will say, well, you should have taken a running back. But I think this is the season in which Phillips makes those people kind of like, there's not that many, if that makes sense. Like that was really bad English, but anyone who still thinks that, or the majority of people that think that the Dolphins should have drafted Harris over Phillips, it won't be a majority no more. It'll be a minority after this season.
So if you could go back right now today, you take Harris over Phillips or Phillips over Harris today, right now? If you could go back,
I think I'd still go Phillips over Harris.
That's tough because I think Phillips contributed more last year to our season than what Harris would have. I think, and that's last season. However, I think this season Harris would contribute more to us than Phillips will this year.
Yeah.
So it's you do it for a career, you do it for the franchise. You don't do it for 1 year at a time. And the reason I say that was because Phillips was underrated last year, and had one game with another way. We're in the playoffs. So we didn't have an O-line. We didn't have an offense to do what we needed to do. So Harris on that offense would have been people saying, oh, we shouldn't have picked Najee Harris in the first round. Everybody would have looked at it with not the right vantage point. So I'm comfortable with Jaelan Phillips, and he does qualify as a breakout candidate this year. I think I'm going to go with, and I'm pretty sure we'll go through a couple more, but that's the first one you brought up. I'm gonna go with the one I'm bringing up now. Oh, 1 second. So I'm gonna go up with I'm gonna go with friend of the podcast, Robert Hunt. That's who I'm going with first. He's at the top of my breakout season list. I like what he does, what he did at guard. I thought Solomon Kinley was going to make the same projection. I thought Solomon Kinley was going to make that step with Robert Hunt. So we would have been, imagine the place we're in right now if Robert Hunt and Solomon Kinley made that leap. So I don't know if Robert Hunt broke out last year. Did he have a breakout? Could we consider that a breakout year last year?
See, he was someone who he definitely brings to mind, but I think he's another one who kind of falls under that. The rest of the league aren't paying attention to what he's doing. And again, like I said with others, he can still get better. Robert Hunt can turn himself into a top 15, 20 guard in the league. At the same time, I think that Robert Hunt, it's a whole thing with Robert Hunt on this offensive line is by far the best person in terms of last year. And I think because of that, everyone just kind of looked at the Dolphins offensive line and went, the all buns, and kind of didn't actually say, you know what? It's a bad offensive line, but Robert Hunt is actually really, really good NFL guard. So I wouldn't say I wouldn't say he broke out last year, but at the same time he did, if that makes sense. It's a really weird one. Is what this would be his 4th year in the league, I believe.
3rd year. He came in
third.
with
came in with yeah. So this would be 3rd year, yeah.
So here's the thing. I'm gonna go with another one because that was borderline cheating. Because Robert Hunt is pretty good. I think everyone can agree Robert Hunt's pretty good. And I guess if you're a breakout candidate, that means you're pretty good. Yeah. So maybe picking Robert Hunt wasn't cheating, but I'll start us off this time, and I'll go with another guy who I think people are going to underestimate. We have all these weapons now on offense. We have Tyreek Hill. We have Waddle. That's already lovely. We got Mike Gesicki. Lovely.
So obviously it's a UK and American podcast. Can you give me a lovely jubbly?
No, I can't. I don't even know what that is.
It's something good. It's a UK slang. It's lovely jubbly. Like just
anyway. So I'm gonna go with Cedric Wilson. Listen, there's nothing like having a big target. And I think even when Tua said for the first time, he was like, oh, he's bigger than I thought. He's a slot guy. I thought he was just a small slot guy, but it's a bigger targets. Even Patrick Mahomes came out recently and said, man, these boys are some big boys over here, these receivers that they acquired in KC. So it's not like throwing to bigger targets. So here's the thing: what we don't know how the Dolphins are going to use Cedric Wilson now, because everyone was quick to say, well, why did you sign Cedric Wilson? Like, if you're going to get Tyreek Hill, that's because you didn't know you were going to get Tyreek Hill. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we were about to be in this. I'm gonna be real with you. Had we kept the Lemon and Devontae Parker and had Waddle and Cedric Wilson, I think Cedric Wilson would have probably had the most receptions on the team, in my opinion. But now that the offense kind of changes, you have Tyreek Hill, Waddle, and Cedric Wilson. Obviously, you have the running game, and obviously you have Mike Gesicki. I think Cedric Wilson is going to be this guy that no matter who you put on Cedric Wilson, they're not going to be good enough to cover him. I said it plenty of times here on this podcast. Cedric Wilson was like the 7th option on Dallas. He would have been the second option on Miami. So you got Cedric Wilson showing up now. He's a big slot receiver. We don't know if Miami's gonna use him in the slot. And I'm like, man, I can't wait to see that part, because if Miami uses him in the slot, I wonder what it's gonna look like on the outside with Hill and Waddle. We already know what Hill does on the outside, but Waddle's gonna be over the top two now. Man, Cedric Wilson has an opportunity to feast. So I'm gonna go with Cedric Wilson, and he could have been my first pick if I'm being real with you. Who you got? Well, how you feel about Ced potentially breaking out?
Yeah, I think with Wilson, it's a matter of you as a defense, you're gonna prioritize your coverage on Waddle and Hill, and I guess Mike Gesicki, and it could just be a thing where it's a pick your poison offense, and Cedric Wilson over the first few weeks is probably going to have himself an amazing start to the season, because teams are so worried about guarding Hill and Waddle. It's like, well, Cedric Wilson's wide open, and Tua's going to find him, and so yeah, I think Wilson's a great pick, and it's a matter of he had the opportunity to establish himself as a. It's weird. I don't think he'll make himself as a people talk about Waddle, Hill, and Wilson in the same breath. Where Dolphins have Waddle, Hill, and also that guy Wilson. No, he's good. It's pretty much a don't sleep on Wilson, and it's the kind of thing where, like you said, he probably kind of got lost in the shuffle at Dallas. I think at Miami, kind of in a bigger role, he'll be able to shine and really show people, why the Dolphins picked him up in free agency.
Bro, like, he was the 7th option in Dallas for a reason. Like, he's not because he was trash, not because he's not good enough to be the 1 or 2, but because they had 6 people in front of him that got more touches and targets than him. Again, Ezekiel Elliott, what's the dude named Pollard, Tony Pollard, Dalton Schultz, Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, and I do this all the time. I forget one more person, but then we'll just throw Ced in there. But yeah, then you got Cedric Wilson. So he was the 6th option, maybe not 7th option. Maybe I was sandbagging. But yeah, he was the 6th option. Still, give me a guy, Kadeem.
So it's weird. This one is someone who basically didn't feature at all last year. And I think he's going to have a much bigger role this year just because of the way, I guess, Mike McDaniel's going to like tight ends. And it's just a weird one. He's the one that I can imagine people just going, Kadeem, you're smoking something because I don't know what you're on about. But I can imagine Hunter Long having a really, really good season. Again, it's someone who no one quite knows why the Dolphins signed him, in terms of they had Mike Gesicki, and it's like, just extend Mike Gesicki and you're fine. Like, it's all good. But I think Hunter Long had the ability and probably have the opportunity to show that he can definitely, and it's not difficult given how many snaps he saw last season, but he can definitely improve on his snap count, which would then in turn just make him, again, someone who the league goes, okay, this is why the Dolphins drafted him when they did. I hope it's not at the expense of Mike Gesicki, in terms of, Mike Gesicki is allowed to walk. But at the same time, Hunter Long kind of needs to step up this year. And I just think that he's going to have a good season. I can imagine him kind of replacing Adam Shaheen in terms of the snap count and stuff like that. I still think that Mike Gesicki is going to have just a absolutely amazing year, but I wouldn't consider it a breakout year, because Mike Gesicki is someone who quite a few people around the league consider himself a top 5 tight end. So yeah, and I'm looking through the Dolphins roster, and so many people, it's just like, again, the Dolphins have a very good roster. Like you said, probably definitely the best I've seen in my Dolphins, fandom. Arguably on paper anyway, the best Dolphins team of all time. Like I said, on paper. So I'm looking at players going, well, this guy's kind of already made it and stuff like that. So yeah, to me, Hunt, I would love to see Hunter Long have a breakout year, and I think he will.
Here's the thing about Hunter Long. Mike Gesicki, and I forgot who I was going back and forth with in the comments months ago, maybe earlier in the season. Actually, like it was still football season when me and this person was going back and forth. I can't remember who it was. Shout out to you though. And I was telling them, I mentioned on an episode, and the guy kind of commented about what I mentioned on the episode, and I mentioned on the episode that everybody in Miami was trying to get Mike Gesicki out of Miami after his first year. Why did we draft Mike Gesicki? He doesn't block. He doesn't do anything. And it's funny how no one can remember that now. You know what I'm saying? But Mike Gesicki only had 22 receptions in his rookie season, 200 yards receiving, no touchdowns, and he doesn't block. Everyone was calling for it. Why is he a second round pick? Mike Gesicki, why we race a pick on the tight end? Mike Gesicki ends up being Mike Gesicki, and then we draft Hunter Long. Hunter Long drops a pass in preseason. I want to say it was preseason. Hunter Long drops a pass in preseason and comes to it might have been a touchdown, but he comes to the sideline, and Mike Gesicki describes Hunter Long's face like, it's over. I blew it. The world's coming to an end tonight. And Mike Gesicki seen it on his face, and he didn't even say, Mike Gesicki didn't say anything about anything else, and he like changed the subject. Didn't even say nothing about it. He just try to talk about something else. And then Hunter Long was just not changing. And then on the way out, Mike Gesicki like, man, don't worry about it, man. Like, it's nothing. It's really nothing. You about to let this one drop change the outcome of your career. Like, relax. It's just preseason. Mike Gesicki probably could have said, I'm going to be in front of you for a while. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't need you to show up, bro. But nah, he didn't. But he's like, yo, bro, it's preseason. It's going to happen. It's not the end of the world. And then he continues to tell Hunter Long, like, yo, they wanted me out of here. My first year, they wanted me out of here. And then Mike Gesicki ends up having a year after year after year, a better year than the last, all for the next 4 years, 3 years, or 4 years, right? So it's like, man, relax, pump the brakes on Hunter Long. Hunter Long could be nice. Hunter Long can show up. So I don't know if I would have mentioned him so early, but I think there's an honorable mention somewhere, and there's so many, like you said, you could look down the roster and find names and be like, I could see this guy breaking out. And I'm gonna give you an honorable mention because we kind of brought up Jevon Holland, and we mentioned him with Jevon Holland, which is Brandon Jones. Yeah, Brandon Jones could have a breakout season. So I mean, we won't go into depth on Brandon Jones, but I can see Brandon Jones having a breakout season. Before we even mention another dude, can you see any of the running backs arriving? Like, this dude is a top 10 running back in the league, probably because of the system, but look at what he's doing for the Miami Dolphins. Can you see a running back making this breakout season list?
Running back's an odd one because I reckon until the season starts, we're not going to even know who the starter is. Like, there's in Chase Edmonds and Raheem Mostert, two guys who will believe that they could, be the starter. Just brought in Tony Michel. Like, he's gonna want to have a say in that as well. And people, Dolphins fans especially, have counted out friend of the podcast, Myles Gaskin, over and over again, and he's like, listen, I'm not here to play with you guys. Like, I'm here for a reason. As former head coach Brian Flores says, he's the epitome of a Miami Dolphin. So, in terms of, like, I generally don't know who's going to win that job and have a breakout year. If I had to pick someone, I'm not just saying this because he's a friend of the podcast, but I can imagine Myles Gaskin just going, listen, I was here first, and having another year, and just like, because again, it's Gaskin's someone who, you give him a better offensive line, he might just explode. and you give him a better offensive line with Mike McDaniel, it could be a case of, yeah, this is what I needed. Now people turn around and say, well, why couldn't a good running back, can do it behind any line? It's like, yeah, but this is probably the 50th. Like the Dolphins defensive line last year was ranked 50 out of 32. Like I'm not trying to do this whole 32 out of 32. They were ranked 50th. Like they were that bad. And yeah, Duke Johnson and Philip Lindsay came in and definitely improved. And I'm not saying that, they ran well behind that putrid offensive line that Miami Dolphins had. But yeah, if you're going to give me one, I probably would say Myles Gaskin.
It's Go Time Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins podcast that goes not only across the pond, but across the world. I'm Charlie Touche. I got my co-host Kadeem Simmons with me. It's always for the fans and by the fans. While we're on the topic of running back, Kadeem, hear me out. We have Raheem Mostert, Chase Edmonds, Sony Michel, 2 fullbacks, 40 acres and a Hellcat, and Savon Ahmed. Then we have, Jared Dotes was a practice squad player last year. And then we also have Dr. White.
Zakondre White.
Right. Mike McDaniel calls him Dr. White. Here's the thing about running back, Kadeem. I think I'm on to something. I think Mostert is the better of all the running backs. And if he's healthy, he starts and runs away with the job. And if he continues to stay healthy, runs away with the job, literally and figuratively. Here's the thing, though, Kadeem. I think I'm on to something. You ready?
Yeah, ready.
I don't think most is going to be ready for the beginning of the season. I think he's not going to be ready for the beginning of the season, and that's why we brought in Sony Michel. I honestly believe that. I was doing some thinking in my free time, thinking about the Miami Dolphins instead of finding out a way to find a girlfriend, and that's why I'm single. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, yo, Chase Edmonds is going to start for the Miami Dolphins. Sony Michel has been added to the rotation. Myles Gaskin is going to make the team. And we're going to see which other running back wants it out of Dokes, Ahmed, and Dr. White, Zakondre White. But I think most is going to start the season on a PUP maybe. I think I'm on something. And then this is just a hunch. There's nothing out there. I didn't find nothing. I don't know nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is just a hunch. Hear me out, Kadeem. I thought of something else too. What are we gonna do at kick return, punt return? And I asked this question before, and I'll ask everyone listening again. Y'all comment and let us know what you think. One, who's gonna break out this year? Who do you think is gonna have the breakout year this year? But here's another question to answer. Who should we put at kick return and punt return? That's for the comments. Answer in the comments. But here's the thing, Kadeem. I don't think the Dolphins put Tyreek Hill back there.
Right. I've got to stop you. No one asked you before this episode what we were talking about. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a list of notes of like potential episode ideas. Mm-hmm. The one I added before you jumped on was who you're gonna play punt return, kick return. To me, that has to be a whole entire episode because
we'll go with that then.
So
we'll go with that.
Next episode.
Hey, listen. Next episode. There it is, right there. Next episode. I guess y'all can still comment on these comments, but next episode is the who's gonna be kick returner, punt returner, because that could really be an episode. Because I ain't gonna lie, I think I cracked the code. I really did.
Like Charlie said, leave in the comments. Tell us why, and we'll add it to the conversation on that episode. So if you want to get a special mention on the episode, drop it in the comments. Who would you like, or who do you think is going to be on punt return, kick returns? If you don't think it's going to be Hill or Waddle, whatever, let us know why, and we'll bring it up on the next episode.
For sure. Leave it in the comments, and we'll talk about it on the next episode. And mentioning people who brought up stuff in the comments of previous episodes. Shout out to Jeffrey Whitcomb. I hope I say your name right. He told us where the terminology chomping at the bit came from. So he hit us up. Shout out to you, bro, for being a loyal follower and subscriber and listener, man. Like, it's because people like you that I can't say we do it for. We do it because we don't have a life and we talk about the Dolphins year round. But we appreciate you appreciating the fact that we don't have lives and we talk about the Dolphins year round. You know what I'm saying? So we do appreciate you for sure. But he said chomping at the bit is from horse racing. A horse that is raring to run chomps on the bit of their harness, waiting to run. Keep up the good work, Jeff. Jeff, you keep up the good work, bro. We appreciate you, man. For real, for real. But yeah, man. So we'll get back to potential breakout seasons. Yeah, who else I got as a potential breakout? I really like Cedric Wilson, bro. I like him to be an issue, and I wonder where they're gonna line him up at. I wonder where they're gonna use this man. Either it's gonna be in the slot, is it gonna be in like? I have so many questions for Cedric Wilson, but I trust Mike McDaniel. I ain't gonna lie to you. I trust him. Breakout season. I'm gonna give you a dark horse. Since we're talking about horse racing, I'm gonna give you a dark horse for a breakout season. Long shot, but it's possible. You ready?
I'm gonna try and. Can I guess who it is?
Go ahead. What you got?
I was gonna say Raekwon Davis. You mentioned Cedric Wilson. No, I have no idea.
What kind of foolishness was that, bro?
Okay, no.
I mean, Raekwon was a good guess, but you could have just, you gotta say it with your chest.
Bowden. I'll go Lynn Bowden.
Say it with your chest, bro. No, it's not Lynn Bowden, and no, it's not Raekwon Davis. But Raekwon Davis was a great guess because he could be mentioned in this potential breakout year. But nah, man, you gotta say it with your chest, bro. It's a long shot, man. It's a super long shot. I'm gonna go with Eric Ezukanma, and I'm gonna tell you why. It's not likely because what's funny?
Like, I don't know. Like, can you have a breakout year before you've even played a snap in the NFL? Like
Water broke out last year.
Yeah, but like, no matter what you do, you're gonna break out it because it's like you haven't shown anything.
Nah, Mike Gesicki had 22 receptions in his rookie year. That's not a breakout.
Yeah. Okay. So when I say no matter what you do, obviously, if you have a rookie season like Noah Igbinoghene, like that's not a breakout year. But if you have a good rookie year, then that's technically a breakout because no one's expecting you to do anything, especially if you're an undrafted player. As you know what? No, hold on, wait. Bro. I take that back because like I said, Easy. I think Preston Williams had a breakout rookie season. So
he did. Preston Williams was a thing.
I'll give you that. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Before I was rudely interrupted, Eazy-E, Eric Ezukanma, long shot. He's like down there with Noah Igbinoghene on the odds. You know, when you go through the Vegas odds, you know what I'm saying? It's like, say, like minus 360, minus 300, minus 200, minus 110, plus 160, plus 200, plus 2,000, plus 5,000, plus 8,000. You know what I'm saying? Noah Igbinoghene is way down there. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Noah. We hope you get right, bro. We wish you the best, bro. We need you, Holmes. We really do. But Eric Ezukanma has to overcome so much in order to have a breakout year. But I think they're open to, hey, whoever shows up, shows up. And if Eric Ezukanma breaks out and we got to eat some of Cedric Wilson's dead cap because we want to play Eric Ezukanma next year, I think that's a good problem to have because that means we have trade pieces. So it's a long shot, but the man is a receiver, bro. He is a wide receiver. I wish he had a different attitude. Like he doesn't have a poor attitude. I want to be clear. He doesn't have a bad attitude. It's not a poor attitude. I'm saying I wish he had more of the right now, to me, he has a I'm happy to be here attitude. I don't want you happy to be here. I want, I'm coming for someone's job attitude. Like, I'm not just happy to be here. I don't care who Waddle is, and I don't care who Tyreek Hill is. I want to play in the NFL. I don't want to just wear a jersey. And that's the type of attitude I need from Eric Ezukanma. I don't think he has that, but he has everything else. And dude looks so good. And I could see a world where everybody, including Charlie Touche, thought Cedric Wilson was going to be that guy, but Eric Ezukanma replaces Cedric Wilson and is that guy. So Eric Ezukanma, you get the nod. What you got, Kadeem?
Yeah, I was torn between Andrew Van Ginkel, Zach Sealer, and Raekwon Davis, but I think Raekwon Davis is going to have himself a really nice year. He's I think he's quietly going about his job. Nothing spectacular, but I think this year again, it's something in which, I think Jaelan Phillips is going to just explode this year, and Ogba is going to be Ogba, and how highly I rate Christian Wilkins, and I think Davis just going to pick up the pieces again. Offensive lines are going to scheme to try and make sure that they protect their quarterback from Phillips and Ogba and Ingram and Wilkins, and Davis can be like, don't sleep on me, because all of a sudden I'm now, pancaking your quarterback and we've got the ball back again. So, yeah, I think Raekwon Davis is someone who, let's be honest, when he was at Alabama, he was someone who was seen as at one point a top 10 pick. Like, this guy's an absolute genuine stud. And you saw Brian Flores' face when we drafted him. It's like, I can't believe we got this guy. Obviously, there's a reason why he fell to the second round and didn't live up to that top 15 first round, hype. But I think that again, this is going to be his year where it's like it all clicks. And again, I think sometimes you said it really well about Eazy-E, that whole I'm just happy to be here mentality. I would love, and again, I don't know Raekwon Davis to be saying that he isn't doing this, but I hope his mentality is, I'm going to show everyone why people, viewed me as a top 10 pick while I was at Bama. And, it's one of the things where I hope that the moment he dropped out of the top 10, the top 20, the top 32, he was like, okay, cool. All you teams who didn't draft me, you're going to live to regret it. Now I'm going to show you why. And I hope that's what's going through his mind every snap, every play he's on the field this year as a Miami Dolphin.
I love competition, bro. We weren't even in a position the past 3 seasons where there were competition on the roster, where it's competitive. Like, who's going to win this battle? Like the receiver room right now is competitive. People trying to get a spot in the receiving room. Running back room competitive. A decent running back is gonna hit the market because our running back room is so deep. Man, I love competition. Before we get into bonus time, you got something, Kadeem?
Who do you think needs a breakout year? Like, who, or not even a breakout year, who needs to show up this year, or that's it, the time of the Dolphin is kind of basically done?
We got to do this? Like, this should be unanimous. Who you got?
Oh, I think there's at least 3 players who need a breakout year, not including Tua. If anything, I think you can probably name 4 or 5.
All right, give us the list. We'll keep it short. And give us the list and elaborate on 1 or 2 of them.
First and foremost, we mentioned him a few times on this show, but Noah Igbenogany, he needs to prove that he has a place on this roster past this season. Over the next few years, I guess. Again, it's not his fault he was taken where he was in the first round, But when you're taking the first round, you kind of got to, give something back. And so, yeah, he's the first one. That which follows nicely, I guess, to friend of the podcast, Austin Jackson, and the other tackle, Liam Eichenberg. To me, both of them need a year in which, the Dolphins don't need to once again dip into free agency and the draft to build an offensive line, which they failed to build years ago. And again, the offensive line coaching has been absolute buns, and we don't know how much of the regression outside of Robert Hunt is down to offensive line coaching or whether these players weren't good in the first place. But I've got those two. The next one is someone who he needs a breakout year, but a breakout year will be, I guess, 14, 15 games healthy, and that's Preston Williams. Like the talent is there, but it's no good if you spend basically 8 games on the field and the rest of the year on the injury table. So those are 4 who spring to mind. I'm sure there's others, but yeah, to me, those 4 need a good year.
I'm gonna be real with you, and this is gonna hurt. I forgot Preston Williams was on the team.
See,
I forgot dude was even on the team. I don't even know if this guy makes the roster because he looks like a wide receiver, bro. He's never played over 8 games in one season, and he's been in 3 NFL seasons. Never played over 8 games. I forgot this man was on the football team. Oh man, I like the Miami. I love the Miami Dolphins, man. Like this is why we have a Miami Dolphins podcast, bro. But I thought it was going to be unanimous, and I thought it was going to be Noah Igbenogany. So next year, this season here is his 3rd season, meaning next year will be his 4th season, and we won't 5th year option him, and he'll walk after that. Nah, it's not even close in my opinion. Is Noah your 1st round pick? You're on a team with arguably the best cornerback in the NFL. I don't think X is the best cornerback in the NFL, but a lot of people can make the argument for him. You're on the team that has the best duo at cornerback in the NFL. There's no reason for Noah not to be decent at the least. The least. You know what I'm saying? Like Noah should be decent right now. Noah, and I'm going to be real with you, Nick Needham is better than decent, in my opinion. And Nick Needham was trash. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Nick Needham was trash once upon a time. Nick Needham did the requisite work, put his head down, went to work, and now he's Glock 40. Like, shout out to you, Nick Needham. And that's what Noah should be. You know what I'm saying? Noah should at least be Nick Needham. What's up? Well, at least like around that in that neighborhood. What's up?
Okay, look, like the way you was going, I thought you can say that no one need to put in that work, and it's like I don't think with Noah it's a work ethic thing. I just think right now it's just. I think I'm not going to say a lack of talent thing. I just think it just hasn't clicked in the NFL. And again, sometimes that happens. The Dolphins have a very, very, very fair share of 1st round picks who just do not pan out. Charles Harris, Deion Jordan, like there's probably an episode. That probably should be an episode. The top 5 worst Miami Dolphins picks over the past 20 years.
I don't want to do that, bro. Come on, bro. Like let's get somebody to smile about. It's something to smile about, bro. I'm not doing that, bro. Like I'm not. And then worst free agent acquisition: Mike Wallace, Tannehill overthrew him, underthrew him. Oh my! I don't want to relive that, bro. I'm not trying to relive that. Listen, it's Go Time Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins podcast that goes not only across the pond but across the world. I actually said that, but I was trying to go into the outro, so I had a glitch, and y'all got to catch it. You know what I'm saying on the episode, but y'all know what time it is. Stay positive.
Wait. Take your time.
So we're gonna break it down, man. We had a good game today. You know what I'm saying? We stayed focused, stuck to the game plan, came out with a W. Y'all know what time it is. Stay positive, test negative. For Kadeem Simmons, I'm Charlie Touche. Thank you for tuning in this time. Make sure you catch us next time on Go Time. Ready, break.
Wait.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's showtime. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's showtime. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's showtime.
Where'd you make my jersey?
Bruh, so your homie that you work out with has a similar seal. So I didn't know if that was the seal or if that was Miami, Inter Miami. So I got some Inter Miami clothes too, but I didn't know which one that was.
Yeah, my shout out to my boy Devin, Divine Da Vinci. He's the one who's trying to get me into better shape so I can win a PS5 off Charlie, among other things. But yeah, he had the pink and black look. But my parents just got back from Miami, and I asked for an Inter Miami training top, but he didn't have any. So my mum, being my mum, was like, "I got you just a shirt." I was like, "No, mum, you got me the actual Inter Miami football shirt." And I'm grateful, but you should just told me, because at that point you could have saved your money. She also got this for my son.
I was about to say, bro, it better not be for you. That better not be for you, boy. Better not. We was about to have a giveaway.
That's tiny, but yeah.
We was about to have a giveaway courtesy of Kadim's mom. Straight up.
My son's first Dolphins jersey. Jaelan Waddle.
That's what's up.
She was like the only one they had left in his size, but I didn't know if he was good, and I was like, "No, mom, he's good. He's solid.
He's gonna retire a Miami Dolphin."
Yeah.
Riley got his first Dolphin jersey.
If he doesn't retire a Dolphin, I'm blaming my mom for buying that for him. What are you doing?
So it's not the Kadeem curse, it's the Simmons curse?
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah.
It's the Simmons curse. Well, why you ain't tell me your OG was in town? I would have met up with her. So what's happening?
They were there for they were there for 5 days, yeah. I kid you not.
I might have been in Texas.
Yeah, but most of the messages was like, "Oh, we're currently on a yacht drinking champagne." I'm like, I'm trying to work. I don't need to know you're on a yacht drinking champagne. I'm stuck in London. To be fair, it was Sunday, but I'm in London working. You're in Miami living that that high baller life. No, don't tell me that.
The standing on the couch in the VIP life.
Yeah. I was just fair play, mom. Fair play.
Hey, so shout out to everyone who wants to play in the Go Time Dolphins Fantasy Football League. Y'all, again, hit us up at GoTimeDolphins@gmail.com. And, leave the subject fantasy football. So we could reach everyone who could get in this league. It's the PPR League, ESPN platform. The reason I'm bringing that up is because Nick Kerr won the league last year. Also won $300. Shout out to Nick. He mentioned about the division realignment, and he was like, basically, shout out to you, Nick, for hitting us up in the emails. He said he always has a debate with his friends about realigning the divisions, and then he mentioned that he would have Baltimore in the AFC East and Indianapolis in the AFC North and Miami in the AFC South. That's exactly what it should be based on geographic. Baltimore is all the way east, Indianapolis is in the north, and Miami's in the south. How it did not end up that way, who knows? I did have something else, but I forgot, bro. I forgot what it was.
Again,
you know what? We're gonna have a fantasy football episode. Nick Kerr is gonna be on it since he won it. So closer to the season, we'll do that.
Can I take that episode off, because I bring no value whatsoever to fantasy?
We know that, Kadeem. We know that.
Although I'm pretty sure I'll be share my team, which is embarrassing. So I take it you haven't heard what Jason McCourty said about Tua.
Jason McCourty. Was that the brother that played with us, or was that Devin McCourty?
I'm pretty sure we had Jason. Let me double check. Jason McCourty. Yeah, Jason.
What did Jason say about our quarterback?
So he said, "I'm fired up for Tua. You give him weapons. He has that Hawaiian mindset. Hang loose. The moment doesn't get too big. He's been at Alabama. He's won championships. He knows what it takes. He now has weapons around him. Tua is going to make it happen. It just continues to be, players who have played with him, be it at Bama, be it in Miami, kind of just it's a total 180 from what we've heard over the past few years. It's just nice to see a former Miami Dolphin who was only there for a year come out with his chest and say Tua's good, and Tua's gonna have a year. He's now got weapons again. Like it's funny. Like it's something that Tua said on that podcast with Tyreek Hill. He was like, "Yeah, I don't watch sports now." Like, and then Tyreek Hill jokes like, "Yeah, you watch Netflix and play the guitar," and they're all laughing and stuff like that. But yeah, don't let what Tua does, watching Netflix, playing ukulele, all that kind of stuff. Don't think that the guy isn't a warrior, a demon. Like the guy, he might not read what you say, but he knows what you say. And this season, he's going to come and go, okay, watch. Just you wait. Alabama Tua, man. We're here.
That's crazy to me. Like, do you think the dude lost it? You know what I'm saying? Oh, he has the it factor. You know what I'm saying? Do you think he lost it? You know what I'm saying? Like this man, if you've seen the Tua documentary where he just told his parents, yo, I'm going to put our name on the map. Like straight up, I'm going to put our name on the map. Jalen Hurts wasn't hurt. Jalen Hurts was fine. He started that championship game. And Tua just knew he was going to play. He like, yo, I'm coming in. I'm going to play. And he called his shot. Not only does he come in because Jalen Hurts is urinating down his leg, Tua comes in, and not only does he ball, the man throws a walk-off game-winning bomb to Devontae Smith. Y'all think he lost it? Like, come on, man. Where do you think it went? Like
I genuinely think that there's a conversation to be had about, and again, it's one of those things where, for whatever reason, people like to forget or just completely ignore the fact that just how bad that hip injury was for Tua. Like, you guys are messing around, and again, it's revisionist history. That again, people like to believe that Joe Burrow throughout his entire college career was the guy. Dude, he wasn't. Now, don't get me wrong. There's always like someone like Sam Darnold who, prior to coming out, would like scam for Sam. Teams are going to tank for Sam Darnold, all that kind of stuff. Like it happens. And Sam Darnold scam for Sam, yeah. And it didn't work out for Sam Darnold for a number of reasons. But prior to that hip injury, like Tua was a dude. Like I genuinely feel like people totally ignore just how amazing Tua was. I'm not talking like it's a weak quarterback class, but someone's going to be no. Tua was like looking like one of the best quarterbacks to ever come out of college at a team who didn't produce quarterbacks. And that hip injury, touch wood, like hopefully that hip injury generally didn't ruin his career. I think it might have been the former Kansas City Chiefs GM or someone was basically talking about, Tom Brady basically had a noodle arm in his first few years as quarterback for the Patriots. But as he, developed as a human being and grew stronger, he could, his arm strength got better. And the guy said the same thing about Tua. He was like, Tua's arm strength is going to be fine. He's still growing. He's still working out. I say all that to say this. Tua didn't lose it. Like, go back and watch those Alabama tapes. I know Ricky Watson right now is going, let me come on. Like, I want to be here right now. Tua didn't lose it. That hip injury, we generally don't know how bad it was. What we do know is that he joined a team who did not care about him and done whatever they could to sabotage him. And this year, it's about, this year is about Tua showing. To me, there's the major question around the Dolphins this year is, did Tua let the Dolphins down or the Dolphins let Tua down? And that's what we're going to find out this year.
We're going deep in the playoffs.